Welcome back, everyone, to the First Reviewed channel. I'm Gal Balaban, and I'm here with the writers and stars of A24's Dix the Musical. How are you guys today?
Hi.
We're great, thank you. We're glad to be back here in Canada. We're all in Canada
Yes.
together.
So I wanted to start off by asking you, first of all, I sort of saw you at the Midnight Madness TIFF premiere of this
Oh,
movie
cool.
in September, which was a lot of fun. The audience was laughing into it. There was a choir, which was super cool. And Bowen talked in the Q&A about this queer safe space that the performances of the original play version you guys created made. Could you elaborate a little more on what those performances and the environment around it were like?
Well, Bowen's
Yeah.
very, very kind.
Yeah.
We love Bowen. Very sweet to say that. But we would do as a joke, before the play started, we would say, join the artists for a talk back at famed gay bar Barracuda, which was just the nearest gay bar to the theater. And then, though, we would go and sort of like Pied Piper lead the whole audience to this gay bar. And then we would just hang out. We would not be talking about the show. And then it started to become this thing where we would do that every couple of weeks whenever the show was on. And if friends who had seen the show or couldn't come out that night, they would just be like, oh, but I can meet you at the bar afterward. And we'd be like, oh, sure, just come. So it just became this weird sort of like salon of gay comedians just hanging out at this bar. And Bob the drag queen was performing there. Bob the drag queen who won RuPaul's Drag Race. That was her era performing at that bar. So we would see her and became friends with her. And it just sort of just became this very fun outing. And we were all just very sort of young, doing day jobs that we didn't care about. So we could stay out till 3 a.m. on a Tuesday night. But yeah, that's kind of how it came to be. Wouldn't you say, Josh?
I would say that.
We're all in agreement. I also wanted to ask, were there any movies, if any, that influenced this one or gave you the confidence that this could work on the big screen, that people would go and get it, you know?
Yeah, we like a lot of stuff like John Waters movies, of course, and also like Wet Hot American Summer and Airplane that are really like goofy, zany, joke-a-line movies. And then stuff like Little Shop, which is such a like similar comp as a musical, but like really reads on screen. Plus like South Park stuff like Bigger, Longer, Uncut and the stuff they've been able to do in Team America. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff in that vein. But at the same time, we also love some of those like late 90s, big, broad, like Zoolander and Austin Powers, like big, crazy characters. And so getting to do a very like, indie and queer version of it was fun. Plus, Larry was bringing a lot of these like grand old MGM musicals where you would, we out of necessity because we had no money would just like have these, crazy looking sets that you shoot on. And he was like, that's what you'd do with Gene Kelly back in the day. You'd throw a painted backdrop and he'd just fucking sell it, So there was a lot of stuff that was coming in that made us feel like maybe there's a movie here.
And also just not that our movie is anything like these movies, but Josh and I love like Charlie Kaufman movies, being John Malkovich.
Me too.
And like those are bizarre, and audiences really like appreciated them. And I think audiences really love movies, or at least audiences like Josh and I really like movies where you don't really know what's going to happen next. You sit down and every moment is exciting, and I think we wanted some of that with our tone, like, and then the Daniels, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, like people loved that was a huge hit. That's Bizarro, and their first movie too, Swiss Army, like we like weird movies, and so we were happy to join the catalog of weird movies.
You guys actually had the chance to reference Everything Everywhere All at Once in this movie, which is hilarious. In addition to that, what were the most enjoyable parts of changing this from a musical to a screenplay?
Honestly, so much of it was like getting to work with, because we did it as like a 2-man show in a basement of a grocery store. So getting to like actually flesh out the world more and cast people like Nathan Lane and Mullally in it, who like really got it and went for broke, was fun. And then also just getting so many like people who like design the costumes or like shot it that like are just such incredibly talented, wild people who wanted to lend their talents to this like crazy little film. So it was just fun to see like it become bigger than it was just truly the two of us in a basement. So for it to get to be so much bigger than the two of us was like a thrill.
You guys shot this movie over 20 days, as you said. And did you guys actually, I believe I'm not mistaken, 2 good takes per shot? Is that the way you went about it?
It's like
Often.
that's become the standard. But I mean, there are many times we did many takes, but there are times where if Larry felt we got it and we'd only done 2 takes, he'd be like, let's move on. We didn't have time. So he's like, I think we got it. That was great. So it wasn't like we only had 2 takes a shot, but often if it was very wham bam, like if you felt good, we didn't need like tons of coverage or tons of safety shots. It was like, this will be great. This is enough.
And we wanted it, Larry particularly wanted you to feel the like electricity of performance, you know? So a lot of times it's like little things, little mistakes didn't matter because he was like, the energy of it needs to be there. So if you got it, then it's like, great. Why nitpick all the tiny stuff when you could just sort of let it live like and feel very like live and electric and dangerous?
Who broke the most during takes between you guys, Nathan, Bowen, and the Megans?
Oh my gosh. All of us. Honestly.
Yeah, we all broke a lot. The Stallion broke a lot, but she's just so good. Like we were breaking with her too. I'm not throwing her under the bus. I think it was pretty across the board. We were all, again, we didn't have that much time, and those bloopers that show us laughing, and some of the cuts that made it into the movie of us breaking, that's like kind of it. Because it was like you had to, like, we were having a blast, but it was like, bring your game because we have to get this thing in the can.
So, to the most important question of all, we've been coming from this July. We had the great Barbenheimer double feature. And since Dix the Musical is now out in theaters in October, do you believe that this would make the perfect double feature with the Eras Tour? And if so, what's your pitch to the Swifties out there?
Yes.
My pitch is you could watch our movie twice and Eras Tour is still going on, honestly. So it's really a lot of bang for your buck. And if you want another movie where you can scream at the screen, that's this film, honestly. It's made for a crowd of people to scream at, which is my impression of what the Eras Tour seems to be.
Yeah. It's interactive. It's fun. It's music. Come on, Swifties. Let's get sickening.
You don't think the Flowers of the Killer Moon crowd is our...
Killers of the Flower...
Sorry,
Killers of the Flower Dick.
Funny you don't think they're our crowd.
Hey, I mean, I feel like that fits better because like Barbie and Oppenheimer are... One's joyful, one's dark. So that might fit even better with Dix the Musical.
And I think you can see Dix 3 or maybe 3.5 times before you can see Killers of the
Scorsese.
Yeah.
We have at least 2 movies plus Q&As before.
Yeah, exactly.
Or in between. A little Q&A in between could be good.
And popcorn break.
Cocktail. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got to work with legendary actor Nathan Lane, and he's had so many great movies over the years, whether it's Lion King, Producers, The Birdcage, even Beau is Afraid just now. So if I were to ask you right now, which is what I'm doing, what is your favorite Nathan Lane movie of all time? I want to hear it out.
It's so boring to say The Birdcage, but I do love The Birdcage. But we live in New York City and have been very lucky enough to see him on stage many times, and that is like, if you ever have the opportunity to see Nathan Lane on stage, it doesn't even matter if the play is actual shit. Like, he will be incredible. It is so fun to see him on stage. So
it also might be Lion King, you know?
Yeah, Lion King. That's true. Lion King's so good. He's the first person to ever say Hakuna Matata. Nathan. Timon starts the song. I mean, that's incredible.
I actually only just watched The Birdcage like a month or 2 months ago.
It holds up.
Wow, it's great.
It really holds up. Like, especially for the 90s. And
yeah,
I don't know how I didn't discover it.
Everyone's good. Robin Williams is so fucking good. And he and Nathan together are like incredible.
It's great.
So did you ever manage to like tell him about like your fan loving of The Lion King and The Birdcage?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you get the fan?
He wouldn't really sign on to the film. As he tells it, he's like, I read this script and I thought it was funny, but it was outrageous. So I didn't know if I should be the one to do all these things. And so then we all went out to dinner for like 4 hours before he finally like signed on. So we got to fangirl at dinner for sure.
Oh yeah. And anytime we were in holding before, while they're setting up a shot, and all the actors are in holding together, we would truly just pick a project. We'd be like, well, Nathan, talk about The Producers, or talk about whatever, The Birdcage, and he'd just tell us stories. So amazing.
Was he like, I'm not sure, this might be too outrageous? And he's like, you just did Beau is Afraid. You did The Birdcage. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
He's got a little odd sensibility.
Absolutely. And he's so great in this movie. And
yeah, he is.
I've had a really great time talking to you guys. That about wraps up our time, but thank you so much. You've really created a really interesting and unique movie that like you guys said at TIFF, really defies description. It's got sing along, it's got social satire, and it's now playing limited in the US and is coming out wide and in Canada on October 20th, which, as we're recording this, is this Friday. So definitely check it out. Bring all your friends and sing, laugh, have a great time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Josh and Aaron. Have a great one.
You too.
You too.